Welcome to the Elite BSC podcast, where our entire focus is helping commercial janitorial contractors succeed. You want a growing company, a thriving team, and healthy profits, and we are here to help. My name is Jordan Tong. I'm the founder of Elite BSC, a company dedicated to helping janitorial companies grow and thrive. I also serve as CEO and one of the owners of France Building Services. France is a janitorial company employing nearly 600 people. Since 2007, we grew from 1.5 million to more than 20 million in annual revenue and built what I think is one of the best teams in the world. The goal of Elite BSC and this podcast is to give owners in the industry a vision of where their company can be and the information and tools to get there. I want to share what I have learned over the years to make this a reality for you. Hey BSCs, Jordan Tong here, your host of the Elite BSC podcast. So when we think about our cleaning companies, one of the challenges, particularly as you're growing and you're going from maybe that startup phase and moving into some established growth and you're things are looking upward. One of the challenges that you face is how to structure the company. Like, who are the people I should hire, and what if I'm filling out a picture of maybe what we would look like if we're 3, 4, 5 times the size we are right now. Like, what does our company look like? What's the structure look like? What roles do we have in place, and who is reporting to who, and how do we handle operations and HR, and what are the various pieces that we need to make the puzzle fit together? And I remember there was a book that the BSCI put out a long time ago, and it's significantly outdated. But I think the book was called Plateaus of Growth. And one of the cool things about it is in each plateau, they tried to create like at the beginning of the chapter, they tried to show what an org chart might look like at that stage of the company. And that was really helpful and motivating for me when I saw that for the first time. So what I've got coming up for you here in just a second is a talk that I gave in front of a group of cleaning contractors talking about the organizational structure of a cleaning company and what that should look like and what it has historically looked like for us in the past. We've gone from, 20 years ago, or I guess just a little less than 20 years ago, we're doing, $1.5 million in revenue, and, we'll do north of 20 million this year. And so our structure has changed in a lot of ways. But really, it's in a lot of ways it stayed the same. It's just progressed a bit, and so we'll dive into that a little bit in this. So this talk I think will be helpful particularly if you're uncertain, maybe of what things should look like, or you would like some affirmation on how you're currently doing things, and maybe some tweaks or suggestions. I think you'll find this particular talk helpful to you. So let's dive right into it.
Okay, let's move on to the organizational structures, page 6. And here's what I want us to tackle here. So let's assume that we've got all of our vision and values and mission and culture. Like we've laid out some groundwork there, and we've got a good foundation for the organization. The next question that I want us to ask is, what should the structure of our company look like? So here's what happens to most of us as we grow, and it happened here, and I think it happens everywhere. It's not like on day one you get to build an organizational chart and you have this nice clean layout of here's what everybody does, here's all the different silos of the organization. No, what happens in the real world is that it's a lot messier than that. That you start out doing things yourself, and then you're like, I need some help over here, I need to hire somebody to do this, and let's see, I need you to do some recruiting, and then also need you to go talk to that customer over there, can you go shred those paper? And like jobs just sort of start getting built ad hoc over time. And you got a lot of people doing a lot of different things, not a lot of clear understanding of how the organization should work. And that creates challenges for how do I manage, how do I let go of things, who's responsible for what, all that sort of thing. And so what I want to do is propose to you guys a big picture framework with which how to think about your organizational structure. And so you don't have to mimic everything that we do, but I want to show how we think about the structure of the organization, how the different departments or different people work together. And the thing that I want you to see, and Jeff, we can go on to the next slide here, is there is a I want you to think about there being, again, think about guardrails here again. I like this. I don't want to put everybody in this tight little box, but also we want guardrails to help know where boundary lines are. And so we like there to be clear understanding of when you're in this role or in this department in the company, here's sort of the guardrails of what you're doing. You're responsible for stuff in this wheelhouse over here. And you help and assist people over in these other areas, but you're responsible for things here. And so there's some clear lines or some clear delineations in terms of where you're at in the organization. So I'm just going to walk you through these four. I think that some people argue, like in the traction book, they argue that there's 3 main silos. I think in our industry, it's best to break it down into 4. And this is the way we view our company. So if Brian Lewis is in the president's seat, then we have 4 different departments that work under him and report to him. Okay, so I want to just walk through what each of those are in our mind, what it looks like. And then at the end, I'm going to show you how they relate with one another in terms of getting certain things done. So if you remember, we've got 2 customers, our internal employee and our external customer out here. And everybody who works in here, whatever the task is, whatever the thing that needs to get done, is you're partnering with the other departments in order to serve those 2 customers that we have. So let's go down through and look at these. So number 1 is business development. This is represented by Jeff. This is Jeff's silo department in the organization. And so for us, business development is responsible for new business growth that aligns with the company vision and strategy. So basically everything you can think about in the sales marketing department falls under this here for us. And again, we like to have this separate because if you have sales or operations people doing selling or selling people doing operations, it really puts a bottleneck on sales because operations people are thinking, how am I going to get this done? I already have a lot of stuff on my plate. The last thing that they want to do is go out and add a lot more stuff on their plate. So for the sake of the organization, it's good that business development is sort of a separate arm to the company that's pushing this one certain objective of the organization. And there's a good healthy tension between sales and operations here. So in terms of serving customers, so again, let's think of this 2-pronged approach. Okay, we're going to look at it with each division or each silo of the company. In terms of serving customers, what they're doing is they're taking the company mission and vision and they're going out and finding customers that are the ideal fit for us and trying to find good partnerships with the people we would want to do business with. And then Jeff, in terms of serving our team internally, Jeff is always looking for the right customer fit and accounts that will help strengthen and shore up our operation, the kinds of accounts our operations people want. So if Jeff was just greedy and just wanted what he wanted all the time for revenue and his commission tables and didn't worry about what our team wanted, it would create some toxicity in our culture. But Jeff is really conscious of these are the kind of customers we want, but then also really partnering with the ops people to say, does this serve you guys best when we get this account? Is the way I'm bidding this, does this serve you guys and allow you guys to perform well? So Jeff, again, is serving two different categories. So let's move on to operations. So this is the biggest silo in all of our organizations, right? This takes up the big chunk of our revenue, of our overhead. This is where most of our costs are coming from. Our operations team, ultimately, as you think about that silo, is responsible for serving customers in such a way as to develop mutually beneficial relationships. So our sole focus in the operations silo is taking care of the customer. And at the same time, building a culture and taking care of our team members so that job satisfaction is high, like we talked about with the service profit chain. So in our organization, what we have is, and the way our org chart is broken down, and do we have a copy of our org chart in the back here? We don't. Okay, maybe we just add that to the list of things we could send out. So the way our company works is we have multiple branch offices, all right, that are in multiple cities. And so Brian is our company president, and underneath Brian, there are 2 regional operations managers. You could call them VP of Ops. whatever. And they cover 2 different territories. So we have like our Indiana and a little piece of Kentucky. He's the regional manager there. Another guy is our Kentucky, Tennessee regional manager. And each of them have 2 or 3 or 4 branch managers that work underneath them. And so that would be the specific office locations in the different cities that we have operations in. And then there are area managers that work under those branch managers. And the regional manager was sort of a new position. It was, what we did have for a long time was just multiple branch managers that reported directly to Brian. But then as that began to grow, we needed another layer of management in there. Okay, real quickly, so Jeff, go on the next slide here. We've got 2 other silos in the company as human resources. And so they're overseeing a ton of stuff that in many ways it can be a catch-all bucket a little bit. But culture, I think, is a big one here. So HR needs to be champions of culture. Compliance, benefits, procurement, onboarding, hiring, firing, and training, and safety. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that revolves around, is our team running well? Are they carrying out the vision? Are we doing this well as an organization? They're almost like the glue in the organization, the people glue in the organization. Okay, next slide. Admins, this is our finance. So we've got 3 ladies that work in finance and admin in our company. And basically making sure that our bills are being paid on time, that we're getting payment from customer, that cash flow is good, that we're managing debt, all the things that go into that, and providing good information back to the rest of the team so that we can manage well based on the data that they're giving us. So real quickly, and then we'll slide to a break here. Whoop, no, never mind. There should be page 12 in your books. So to show you a little bit of how these different departments work together to get things done. So everything in the company, and we'll use the example here. This is what this page is, an example of, okay, here's how everybody works together when we start up a new account. Okay, so the first section is business development and operations, those 2 different silos. They'll often meet with the customer together. Now, it's on Jeff to sell that account, but he's collaborating with operations. But in terms of chain of command, the authority, who's held responsible, Jeff's responsible for closing that deal. Okay, next step down, business development and operations. We'll work on estimating man hours, supplies. HR is consulted at this point to discuss hourly wage information. And if we need to do large equipment purchases or some cash management stuff, we're going to be talking with our admin folks and finance folks in the company. So here you have, just in the bidding of an account, specifically a big account, you're going to get input from the rest of the organization, from the different departments. But again, Jeff is still responsible right now for this selling portion. Jeff submits the proposal. If the client accepts the proposal, business development and operations meet with the new customer, complete the transition, and then a lot of information is submitted to our finance and admin team so we get all the data in the system that we need in order to make this person a customer. Then we confirm with HR, and now there's been this handoff that's happening. So Jeff has sold the account, and now HR and operations are now beginning to be responsible for different things. So HR is responsible for making sure we're hiring well for this account, and we have the staff that we need, right? Operations is making sure that the plans, the service plan and things have been set up, that the customer is on board and ready to go, and we're ready to hit the ground running. And then operations, last one, operations and HR work together to recruit and onboard team members. Operations trains the team, prepares worksite documentation. Admin confirms invoicing instructions, procures supplies and equipment. Operation commences work. So again, you can see we have lots of different departments working together, but each department clearly understands their role in whatever we're doing. So the idea behind this is, again, you have this organizational structure with clearly defined roles and responsibilities, and then whatever thing we're doing in the company, whether it's onboarding a new customer or serving a customer, everybody understands the role that they play in making that happen. and they understand what success looks like in those various roles. And this is where position profiles will tie in, and we'll talk about some of that later.
If you found the information in this podcast helpful, please like and subscribe on whatever podcast platform that you're using. If you would like more resources or help to grow your cleaning company, head over to elitebsc.com. We have loads of articles, videos, free tools, coaching options, and a lot more. If your company is greater than $500K in revenue and you want to take your learning experience to the next level, check out our mastermind group. You can learn more about that at elitebsc.com/mastermind.